On July 26, 2025, media outlets and fans observed BTS member Jungkook at Incheon International Airport, ICN, creating immediate speculation regarding the reason for his return to Korea. Previously, it was known that Jungkook had been residing in Los Angeles, primarily for business-related activities including music production and brand partnerships. His sudden appearance at ICN raised questions about the underlying motivation, especially as it aligned with the timing of Eunwoo's scheduled military enlistment. Industry insiders were quick to link Jungkook's return with Eunwoo's enlistment, which was officially confirmed by Fantajo Entertainment to take place within the week. Given the nature of their personal relationship, characterized by mutual respect, professional collaboration, and recent documented gestures, the theory that Jungkook returned specifically to bid farewell to Eunwoo gained considerable traction. Historical context: Jungkook and Eunwoo's mutual support. Jungkook and Eunwoo, both born in 1997, are part of what the Korean media often refers to as the 97liners, a group of male idols from various K-pop groups who share close friendships. This peer group includes idols from BTS, ASDRO, GOT7, 17, and NCT. Within this group, Jungkook and Eunwoo have demonstrated a more personal connection, marked by occasional public support, mutual appearances at events, and behind-the-scenes collaborations. Most notably, during Jungkook's own enlistment, Eunwoo presented him with a custom military-grade wristwatch and a handwritten letter, which Jungkook was seen wearing during his departure. The nature of that gift and the formality of the letter added weight to their interpersonal bond, setting a precedent for potential reciprocation when Eunwoo's enlistment date approached. Jungkook's decision to return to Korea days before Eunwoo's enlistment appears consistent with this pattern of mutual respect. Although no official statement has been released by Jungkook's agency, Big Hit Music, regarding the purpose of his return, timing alone provides enough basis for connecting it to Eunwoo's military send-off. Airport appearance, observations, and reactions at ICN. Jungkook was seen dressed casually, wearing dark-toned layered clothing, a baseball cap, and a mask, consistent with his standard travel attire designed to minimize attention. Nonetheless, fans and local media captured numerous photos and video clips of his arrival. Notably, he was not accompanied by any visible entourage or staff members, suggesting a low-key return possibly intended to maintain privacy. There was no indication of a formal schedule or event that would explain his presence in Korea beyond personal reasons. Neither promotional activities, fan events, nor media appearances were scheduled under Jungkook's name in South Korea for that time period, which supports the hypothesis that his return was unofficial. Though Jungkook did not engage with press or make public comments at the airport, his appearance triggered immediate coverage from entertainment news platforms, many of which referenced Eunwoo's upcoming enlistment. The media narrative shifted toward analyzing whether Jungkook's appearance constituted a symbolic or personal farewell, possible private meeting ahead of enlistment. Given the private nature of military enlistments and the Korean tradition of maintaining a low profile during these events, it is plausible that Jungkook aimed to meet with Eunwoo in private rather than attend any public or ceremonial gathering. Such a meeting could include a brief reunion, the exchange of gifts, or a private conversation meant to express support. K-pop idols are known to honor enlistments in discreet, yet meaningful ways, often avoiding fanfare to respect the solemn nature of military service. Jungkook's track record supports this approach, as evidenced by the lack of public updates during his own enlistment and absence of grand announcements. While neither party has confirmed whether such a meeting will take place, fans anticipate that if it does occur, it will likely remain undocumented, consistent with the cultural norms surrounding enlistment farewells. Future movement. Will Jungkook travel to Japan? As speculation around Jungkook's ICN appearance continues, attention has shifted to another potential development: his involvement in the upcoming Calvin Klein event in Tokyo. The brand's first flagship store in Asia is scheduled to open in early August 2025, and promotional material has begun circulating on social media and fashion platforms. Jungkook, as a global ambassador for Calvin Klein, has previously attended several high-profile events and campaigns, including the Calvin Klein pop-up in New York and major releases across digital platforms. His endorsement of the brand has consistently generated substantial consumer engagement and media visibility, making him a valuable presence at such openings. Tokyo, as the first Asian market to receive a flagship Calvin Klein location, represents a critical step in the brand's regional expansion. Given Jungkook's strong influence in both fashion and pop culture sectors across Asia, his attendance would align with strategic branding goals. Logistically, it is feasible that Jungkook's return to Korea could serve dual purposes: a personal visit for Eunwoo's enlistment, followed by a short trip to Tokyo to fulfill professional commitments. His agency has not released a public schedule, but the brand's marketing timeline and regional strategy suggest that his appearance in Japan remains a strong possibility. Simultaneously, Jungkook remains known for loyalty and personal integrity, traits that resonate with South Korean cultural values. His return to Korea before Eunwoo's enlistment, particularly if it was motivated by a private farewell, aligns with this national character trait. It enhances his image domestically as someone who respects duty, friendship, and military service, maintaining both images. One rooted in personal loyalty, the other built on global branding, requires calculated movement and message control. His appearance at ICN was unannounced and low-profile, possibly to keep attention on Eunwoo rather than attract headlines. If he later appears in Tokyo for Calvin Klein, it would allow the narrative to shift naturally from personal loyalty to professional responsibility. This demonstrates how idols like Jungkook must manage two kinds of currency: emotional cultural capital within Korea and commercial visual capital globally. Non-overlapping messaging. Why silence is strategic. Interestingly, Jungkook and his management have offered no official explanation for his travel. This deliberate silence offers several advantages: flexibility in narrative framing. Without a confirmed reason for travel, media and fans can speculate without contradiction. This allows both personal and brand stories to evolve organically, depending on future outcomes. Discretion in sensitive moments. Enlistment is not a commercial opportunity. Silence respects Eunwoo's transition to military service, without tying it to any marketing agenda, future brand alignment. If Jungkook is later announced to appear in Tokyo for Calvin Klein, the story becomes one of professional commitment, with no need to backtrack or explain prior movements. By avoiding overlapping declarations, Jungkook's team ensures that each gesture, whether personal or commercial, can be received in its proper context. This layered communication strategy is common among top-tier idols with international brand affiliations, corporate expectations. Calvin Klein's strategic use of Jungkook. Calvin Klein has invested significantly in Jungkook's image as a global ambassador. Since the launch of his campaign in 2023, the brand has seen measurable upticks in sales, social media engagement, and brand recall among younger Asian consumers. For a company seeking deeper penetration into the Asian luxury market, having Jungkook present at its Tokyo flagship opening would be a highly strategic move. Unlike Western celebrity campaigns, which often prioritize visibility over nuance, Calvin Klein's use of Jungkook is rooted in image continuity and cultural resonance. His presence at a major regional store launch, especially in a fashion capital like Tokyo, could generate earned media worth millions, while also reinforcing the brand's commitment to its Asian markets. This strategic calculus makes it unlikely that Calvin Klein would overlook the opportunity to feature Jungkook at the Tokyo event. If he is already in East Asia for personal reasons, his transition into brand ambassador mode would be efficient and consistent with luxury event playbooks. Blending private presence with public image. What stands out in Jungkook's current situation is how naturally personal and professional priorities appear to overlap. The ability to travel discreetly, maintain control over media narratives, and transition seamlessly between personal interaction and brand representation is a hallmark of global entertainers. Jungkook's movements, though not explicitly defined, showcase the operational model of a modern K-pop superstar, private enough to uphold cultural expectations, visible enough to fulfill global brand roles, disciplined enough to navigate both without contradiction. This balance is not accidental. It is the result of careful planning between the artist, his agency, and external partners like Calvin Klein. Every flight, airport outfit, and period of silence can be part of a broader communication strategy designed to maintain multiple forms of relevance: local, cultural, commercial, and global. Jungkook's role as Calvin Klein's global ambassador represents more than a simple celebrity endorsement. Since his appointment in early 2023, The partnership has evolved into a multifaceted brand collaboration that integrates personal identity, cultural influence, and commercial performance. With Calvin Klein preparing to open its first Asian flagship store in Tokyo, attention has intensified around Jungkook's potential involvement, especially following his return to Korea just days ahead of the launch. Genesis of the partnership. Global appeal meets brand reinvention when Calvin Klein announced Jungkook as its new global ambassador in March 2023. The fashion industry quickly recognized the strategic significance of the decision. At the time, Calvin Klein was undergoing a shift in brand identity, transitioning from its late 2010s minimalist aesthetic to a more sensual, personality-driven approach that emphasizes bold intimacy and cultural relevance. Jungkook, as the youngest member of BTS and one of the most globally recognized K-pop figures, aligned perfectly with this new direction. His public image, marked by discipline, mystery, sensuality, and global influence, fit the Calvin Klein model, which favors edge over excess and character over flash. The initial launch campaign featured Jungkook in Calvin Klein denim and underwear, photographed in moody, industrial settings. The visual language emphasized both his physical confidence and his understated intensity, making a strong impact not just in fashion circles, but among general consumers. The campaign generated over 30 million views within the first week on official platforms and contributed to a measurable increase in Calvin Klein's online traffic and product search volume. Market impact. The Jungkook effect in fashion retail. Jungkook's endorsement had a direct and quantifiable effect on Calvin Klein's brand performance. Within the first quarter of his campaign, website traffic to Calvin Klein's Asia-Pacific portals increased by over 50%. The denim jacket he wore in the campaign sold out in under 48 hours. Social media engagement on Calvin Klein's Instagram rose by 32%, driven largely by reposts and fan edits of Jungkook's campaign images. Retail locations in Seoul, Tokyo, and Bangkok reported a surge in foot traffic, largely attributed to in-store visuals of the Jungkook campaign. Industry observers began to refer to this phenomenon as part of the broader Jungkook effect, a pattern in which brands experience rapid, visible growth after featuring him in major campaigns. His influence was not limited to K-pop fans. Fashion insiders, Western media, and even rival brand executives acknowledged the precision of the match. This makes his potential appearance at the Tokyo opening not merely an event attendance, but a strategic brand activation moment that could shape Calvin Klein's Asian market trajectory for the next fiscal year. Cultural resonance. Why Jungkook works for Asian luxury consumers while Calvin Klein is an American brand. Its regional growth strategy relies heavily on resonating with East Asian consumer values, particularly in South Korea, Japan, and China. In these markets, luxury consumption is often influenced by trust, subtlety, and brand story alignment. Consumers prefer brand ambassadors who appear authentic, aspirational, and culturally appropriate. Jungkook's public image satisfies these criteria. He maintains a balance between accessibility and mystique, shows respect for cultural norms, especially concerning military service and privacy, and consistently avoids controversy. His fashion sense is globally relevant but regionally tasteful, emphasizing clean lines, neutral tones, and body language over flamboyant styling. This makes him an ideal conduit for Calvin Klein to reintroduce itself in Asia, not just as a Western import, but as a hybrid brand that acknowledges local values while delivering global prestige. Calvin Klein's Tokyo flagship. More than a store launch, the opening of Calvin Klein's flagship store in Tokyo is more than a retail milestone. It is a symbolic investment in the Asian market. The location in Omotesando, one of Tokyo's most prestigious shopping districts, signals the brand's long-term commitment to luxury presence in Japan and East Asia at large. Tokyo was chosen deliberately for its blend of trend-setting youth culture and high-fashion credibility. Unlike pop-ups or seasonal campaigns, a flagship store anchors the brand physically and conceptually. It becomes a site for immersive brand storytelling, exclusive product drops, and high-visibility collaborations. In this context, Jungkook's appearance would elevate the event beyond a launch. It would serve as a live reactivation of his brand identity within Calvin Klein's ecosystem, reinforcing the connection between the artist, the fashion house, and the consumer. If he attends, his presence would likely be used for private media previews or press walkthroughs, limited public exposure, possibly for social media filming, special visuals, or campaign content tied exclusively to the Tokyo store. His participation would also signal to competitors that Calvin Klein remains active in the East Asian influencer economy, one where celebrity image carries as much weight as product innovation. While his appearance is still unconfirmed as of late July 2025, Calvin Klein has not officially confirmed any celebrity appearances at the Tokyo event. Nor has Jungkook's management released a public schedule. This silence is consistent with the operating style of both parties, who tend to avoid early confirmations for high-impact events. There are multiple reasons for this strategy: security and crowd control. Confirming Jungkook's appearance too early could lead to uncontrollable crowds at the Tokyo venue, compromising safety and event flow. Staggered media rollout. Maintaining secrecy allows the brand to execute a multi-stage release of visuals, interviews, and behind-the-scenes content across different regions. Narrative management. Silence allows the public and media to focus on each development sequentially. First, Jungkook's ICN sighting in Korea. Next, his Tokyo presence. Later, any exclusive Calvin Klein materials released post-event. This sequence would allow both the personal and brand narratives to coexist without clashing. Jungkook can be seen as a supportive friend one week and a global fashion ambassador the next, with no need for either identity to undermine the other.